Hello there again, Gator here, and welcome to another adventure. Here is Tuscarora State Park. We're in coal country, just outside of the town of Tamaqua, PA, and we're going to be trying to do a 5.5 mile loop trail around Tuscarora Lake. It's about 1:30 in the afternoon. Only seen about 2 cars in the park in the whole area, and the weather guy this morning said it was going to be highs in the mid upper 40s and a little bit of sunshine, but what we're looking at here is mid low 30s and possibly some snow flurries. So it should be interesting, and let's see what we see. Well, as you can see, the lake is frozen. I know this is a very popular fishing area. I'm not sure exactly. It doesn't look like it's very thick, but it is iced over. All right, so we're starting this loop on the Spirit of Tuscarora Trail, and it's featuring your typical Appalachian type landscape: mountain laurel, rhododendron, understory, oak, hemlock, some white pine, and a lot of blown down trees on the trail so far, but very familiar terrain. It's what I like to hike in, and let's see where the trail takes us. Very quiet out here on the trail so far. All you hear is an occasional gunshot in the distance, but this is what it's looking like right now. It's a little bit colder out here than I had anticipated. I do have 2 extra layers in my pack. One is a light sweatshirt and one is a rain jacket, but as long as I keep moving, I'm okay. But when you stop, you start to feel the chill a little bit. Definitely a good 10-15 degrees cooler here than it is back home in Montgomery County. Well, we're getting into some real thicket of rhododendron here, and I imagine this is a very lovely section of trail in the summertime. Usually end of June, early July is when the rhododendron really comes into bloom. Probably one of the most synonymous plants with the Appalachian Mountains. I can hear running water. Wow. That's a nice hemlock right there. I was gonna say, I can hear running water. I know we're close to it. Oh, there it is. Speak of the devil. But let's check this out. Let's check this creek out. Just a little bit of ice on the banks, but it's running cold and clear through the middle. I need to consult the map periodically because I've never been here before and I did get off to a late start. So I want to make sure I don't wander too far in the wrong direction. I'm trying to figure out how to get across this stream to make this loop. But I'm going to go a little further and see if I can figure it out. It's only 2:30 in the afternoon, but sunset is about 5:30, and again, as I said, it's overcast, so it feels considerably darker. Feels like it's more like 4:30 or 5. Gotta figure a good solid 2 hours of daylight, and then between 4:30 and 5:30 is when you're gonna start to have your twilight. Especially when you're in the mountains, the sun sets earlier because it gets behind them hills, and that's it. All right, guys, well, I'm back in the main park area. I got all discombobulated on that Spirit of Tuscarora trail. I should have made a left somewhere, and I made a right, and I ended up coming back to the same place I started at. So I ended up making about 1.5 miles to maybe 2 mile loop, and I just looped in the wrong direction. So I'm going to head to the other side of the lake now where the dam is and see what it looks like over there. I gotta say, these gotta be some of the worst marked trails I've seen anywhere. I'm gonna get down by the lake here and take a break. Nice peaceful spot. So I just wanted to read to you a little bit of a history of this area, something I found interesting about the Tuscarora Indians, the original people of this area, inhabitants. It says, beginning in 1714 and continuing for 90 years, bands of Tuscarora migrated from North Carolina to southern New York. Most of the families followed the Tuscarora path up the valleys of the Susquehanna River to New York, but many also made their own path. All along the routes, many mountains, streams, valleys, and towns bear the name of Tuscarora, evidence of this 500-mile migration. Local tradition holds that sometime between 1715 and 1722, the Tuscarora briefly dwelled in this area, the Locust Valley. The League of Five Nations welcomed the Tuscarora and made them the number 6 nation in the League. Although not equal with the other 5 tribes, the Tuscarora voiced their opinions through one of the other tribes. Today, 700 Tuscarora Indians are still part of the League of 6 Nations and now have equality with the other tribes. Tuscarora State Park was named to honor these transient residents of Pennsylvania. I just thought that was interesting, because I was going to say before I even got here that the term Tuscarora is very common all through the Appalachians and the Alleghenies, down through West Virginia, Maryland, the Tuscarora Tunnel, Tuscarora Mountain, Lake, Trail, and now I know why, and so do you. Well, I just seen 2 guys fishing in the dead of winter here on a half iced over lake. So that should tell you, I think that's really the main attraction at this park. And you can tell by the facilities and all the areas like this, it's really catered to the fishermen here. I'd love to see a bald eagle up at the lake here. up in them trees over there. I'd be willing to bet that there's a breeding pair here somewhere. They've pretty much established themselves in throughout Pennsylvania. If you have any clean, clear body of water, and with the amount of fish that are in this lake, I would definitely expect there to be some eagles or ospreys or other large predatory raptors on this lake. Did you know that outside of the Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon, Northern California, that there are more Bigfoot sightings in Pennsylvania than any other state in America? And one thing that Bigfoot hunters like to do is they like to knock on trees, and sometimes if you knock, sometimes you'll hear a response. So let's do a knock and see if we hear anything over the lake. I don't hear anything, but you never know. He's out there. So it's about 5 o'clock now here at the lake, and I got a 2-hour drive home, so I'm gonna be wrapping it up. And I think my final thoughts here on Tuscarora State Park, I'd have to give it an incomplete. For most of the day it was rather gloomy. The sun just started coming out in the distance a little bit as it's setting over the hillside over there. But I got lost on my hike today. That's probably my fault. It happens sometimes. But I'd say this place is mainly designed around the lake and for fishing. But the trails, I mean, there's a lot of potential here. I just have to come back and reevaluate at a later date, and hopefully we'll do that. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye, and thanks for coming on another adventure, and Gator out.